You're listening to Family Today with Funmi Johnson.
Welcome again today to Family Today with Funmi Johnson. We're going to be talking about something very, very beautiful today. I call it beautiful because I believe that is God's plan for humanity. So let me take you to 1 John chapter 1. 1 John chapter 1 verse 2. The life appeared, we have seen it and testified to it, and we proclaim to you the eternal life, which was with the Father and has appeared to us. I read chapter 2 because I want us to look at the word Father. Verse 3 says, we proclaim to you what we have seen and heard, so that you also may have fellowship with us. Our fellowship is with the Father and with His Son, Jesus Christ. What am I saying today? God is a God that transcends from one generation to the other. Our fellowship is with the Father and with His Son. We write to you so that even you also can begin to fellowship with us. Today I'm going to talk to you about in-laws. In-laws. You know, I had a post about a month ago where I said, in-laws, they your day. And let me tell you, if there is someone that qualifies to talk about this, I think I do qualify. I'm an in-law. I have a son-in-law and I have a daughter-in-law. So I would balance it. You know, I won't be talking from one angle. So I have a son and a daughter-in-law. So I should be able to look at how to help in-laws relate with the rest of the family. Because you see, that post gave me over 1,000 followers in a jiffy, and people were saying all sorts of things. Oh, it's the husband that should be blamed. Oh, it's the mother of the husband that comes to destroy the house. Oh, it is this. Oh, it is that. I said, I'm a mother of husband too, and I know I'm not destroying my son's house. And I'm a mother of daughter too, and I know I'm not destroying my son-in-law's, abode. So we're going to look at this. Are there precedents in the Bible? Is there something we can learn? I'm going to show us that. We're going to start slowly, reading one after the other. The Bible is replete with in-laws. We have different stories of mother-in-laws in the Bible. There is 141 in the book of Genesis 38, Judah and his daughter-in-law. We have Moses, the great man of God, Moses and his father-in-law. You can read about Judah in Genesis 38. You can read about Moses in Exodus 3, Exodus 4, Then we have Ruth and our mother-in-law. That's in Ruth chapter 1, 1 to 22. What about Eli as you call him, and his daughter-in-law in 1 Samuel chapter 4 verse 19. There are several examples, of in-laws. So it's not the first time. And there are good ones and there are bad ones. See the relationship of Ruth and Naomi. People still refer to that. That's really, really outstanding. We also look at Moses and his father-in-law, how the man came to help him in governance, in administration. But there are a few bad ones. Like David and his father-in-law. Saul was going to really kill him, send assassins after him. I don't really know what the man did. So there are a few, examples of bad relationship of in-laws. We also have Peter and his mother-in-law. That one was a good one. So we have others like Caiaphas and his father-in-law in John chapter 18. So in-laws relationship are inevitable. Even in the book of Genesis chapter 2, when God was finally done bringing out Eve from the side of Adam, he now said, for this reason, a man will leave his father and his mother and cleave to his wife. That means right from the beginning, God started creating the boundaries that are supposed to be in an in-law relationship. So God is interested in the in-law relationship. God is interested in the continuity of your family. God is interested in the fellowship. But at the same time, He's also interested in how you set clear boundaries so that your good is not evil spoken of. So the instruction to married couple to live and cleave is to leave their biological family and start a new family. So I want to start with that. And you see, like I said, I qualify to talk about this because I have a married son and I have a married daughter. And I know how I am managing my relationship with them. A lot of people think that when their children get married, they lose them. You don't lose them. You actually release them to fly. Those children are not chickens, they are eagles. And eagles don't thrive on the ground. They thrive when they flap their wings and they fly. The glory of the eagle is in how high it can fly. So when you keep your children perpetually under your wings, you are actually not allowing them maximize their potential. So your children getting married is a good thing, and I'm saying this to you, and I want you to listen to me. It is beautiful for you to give out your daughter, your son in marriage. It's also important for you to know how you're going to relate with them once that is done. So now let everyone call everyone. If you know someone whose children are already over 25 and they're getting ready to get married, call them. Everybody gather. All my mates, all my seniors also, those of you that are already in your late 60s, 70s, and your children are married, you have son-in-laws, daughter-in-law. This is village meeting. This is Family Today with Funmi Johnson, and we're talking about family. The beautiful thing I want us to look at is God is interested in your fellowship. God is interested in the continuity of your lineage. God is interested in your children prospering in your lifetime. So you want to see them prosper, flourish. You don't want your son pensive, moody, unhappy, melancholic just because there's a bad relationship between you and his wife. And you don't want him to choose you over his wife or choose his wife over you. So what really do we need to do? In-laws. So let us gather. Number one, I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. Write this down. When family, let's say the Johnsons family and the Madueke family, when the Johnsons from Lagos, they give back to Kule, and the Maduekes from Umudioka, they give back to Ngozi and Kule, they met at the university, and the heart of Kule started doing and the heart of Ngozi was also doing Paulina. There was chemistry, there was symphony, there was harmony, and they came together. Anyway, to cut a long story short, are you listening to me? They decided to marry. When Kule shows up in Madueke's house, what the Maduekes are supposed to do is to receive him first as a guest, examine him and be sure that character-wise they agree, and ask their daughter Ngozi, are you okay? And if she says okay, put it on the left hand. Then when Ngozi goes to the house of the Johnsons, they will do the same thing. And once the two families agree that Ngozi and Kule can get married, now this is where the things now begin to change. The Ngozi family, they are not gaining Kule. The Kule family, they are not gaining Ngozi. The two families are releasing those two. Somebody say release. That's where we miss it. The husband's family think that they are gaining a child. Are you insinuating then that the Maduekes are losing their own child? Who wants to lose a child? One of the prayers we pray all the time is that we will not lose our children, that we will not see the grave side of our children. So do you want that child to be dead alive? No. You have finished phase 1 of your assignment on your child. Hello? In-laws. Are you still there? Because I want you to have a beautiful life. Because one of the reasons we have problem in marriage is because of expectations. We have faulty expectations. So when we get into the marriage and things are not going on as we want it to be, we now get unhappy. So you think that because you are the family of the groom, you are gaining a child. So me as a family of the bride, I'm losing a child? No. Nobody is gaining nothing. We both finished the assignment. Write it down. What did I say? Finished our assignment. Somebody say finish. Full stop. It's not semicolon. It's not comma. It is what? Finished. You finished phase 1 of the assignment. Now, in the phase 1 of the assignment, you were the principal. Okay? You are the caretaker. You are the decision maker. You tell your son what to do. As a daughter, you tell your daughter what to do. You set the boundary. You determine what they will eat. You determine when they will come in, or if they can drive your car, when they will learn to do this. You understand what I'm saying? But the moment they both choose themselves and you give your consent, what you're saying is, I relinquish my right. I relinquish that principal position. I relinquish that gatekeeper position. And I believe I've trained you enough to be able to take up that responsibility for yourself. In fact, if you're not able to let go your children, is a sign of failed parenting. That means you haven't done enough for them to be able to stand on their own. So, family of groom, family of husband, family of sons. First ideology that you need to remove is that you are not gaining a daughter. You are giving up your right over your son so that he can take care of that new family. Family of bride, you are not losing a daughter. You are giving up your right, your role, your responsibility over that girl so that she also can cleave. The Bible says, for this reason, Kule will leave his father and his mother. Ngozi will leave her father and her mother. And they will cleave together. And the two of them will become one. If you follow Kule, you will now be three. Three cannot be one. If you follow Ngozi, you have caused katakata. So what happens is, Kule and Ngozi, they get married. Mama Nkechi follow. Mama Ngozi follow. Say, Adane, I will follow you. You are my only daughter. Or you are my first daughter. You are the mother of your children. She's not the mother of the rest of the children. She's your daughter. And she's leaving. And Kule is not going to be the man that will not say, oh, call me, because Yorubas will say, oh, call me. It's not your Oko. Your Oko is the man that impregnated you, and the two of you gave birth to Kule. Kule is now a new Oko, the Oko of Ngozi. Do you get what I'm saying? And I want us to get this, and I want us to get it right. If we get this, we will first of all reduce all the pressures and all the burdens. Right. Now, does that now mean that you would not relate with your children? No. Did I say that? No. But you see, what I need first of all is a mental orientation. I was talking to one woman whose son was going to be getting married and said, Kuku, call me. Like, it's not my problem. She be where the one getting a child. I say, So the woman is losing her own child. Nobody is gaining, nobody is losing. We are advancing. Somebody say advance. We are progressing. Somebody say progress. We are moving up. Somebody say moving up. That's what is happening. So once we do that, husband's family will not feel bad. Wife's family will not feel bad. In fact, there will be collaboration. So immediately they come together, give them space. Give them space. Now, all this dating and courtship, they don't know themselves. Because that 30-year-old, that 28-year-old is 30-year-old experience. Experience of how you taught them to eat, to open the door, to keep time, to relate to people, is bringing that. Then the girl too, she's bringing all those experiences, different from the one you taught in their family. So they both need to come together and begin to see their differences, and then begin to ask, what is the standard we're going to use there? How do we align these differences? How do we work together? Then they also need to collaborate on, how do we relate with our parents? How do we relate with our siblings? So you need to give them that space. I'm going to go on a short break very soon. Now, if you miss any of this, just follow me. This is Family Today with Funmi Johnson. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, TikTok, all the X's, everything. The Funmi Johnson. And check all the postings I've done. You can also go to my YouTube channel. This would also be posted on YouTube, because this in-law issue is something we must deal with. We will continue this conversation after the short break. But remember, the last thing I said is give them space. The last thing I said is what? Give them space. We continue the conversation after the short break. Paul says it is better for a single man to marry than to burn. Are you single, married, widowed, separated, or divorced? Join me on Family Today.
Family Today with Funmi Johnson is one program that will bring you in alignment with who you truly are and open your mind to how you rock your significant interpersonal relationships while sidestepping the landmines culture, religion, and society have laid in your path. Family Today with Funmi Johnson goes where others are shy to go and shines the light in the dark corners others have forgotten. Tune in at 11:30 a.m. every Friday to listen to Family Today with Funmi Johnson on Inspiration 92.3 FM.
We are back. So let's go to that scripture again that I shared. I will read it from Genesis chapter 2. I'll start from verse 23. The man said, "This is now bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man." You can imagine someone that was taken out of you, who had been living with some other people for 28, 30 years, for 25 years. I don't know, depending on what age you get married, or 40 years. So you are two people. Now you are trying to now fit into each other. No, verse 24 says, "That is why a man leaves his father and his mother and is united to his wife, and they become one flesh." So I said again to parents, please, your son has to leave, your daughter has to leave. Allow them. No child, no human being is higher than the other one. Parents of males, they in a subtle way think that they have an upper hand over the parents of the female. That is not correct, and that is not so fair. And if we take care of these, all those agitation that we must have a son by force will reduce when we realize that there is no gender that is higher than the other gender. There is no supremacy. I don't care if you don't have a male child, your name will not go into extinction. The memory of the righteous is blessed. Whatever you do would outlive you, good or bad. So what you should be concerned about is, what are you doing right now? There's so many people that their children don't continue with their names. I know someone very close to me, and is a man, and said, I just noticed that there is a pattern with all the people with this surname, so I want to change my surname. There are some other people also, probably for religious reasons, they change their surname. Does that mean that they will forget who their father is? So don't think that because you have a male, you must continue to live your own dreams and visions through your son. So we should stop that. The Bible standard is that you will leave your son, that you will leave your daughter, and you would allow them start. So I said the instruction to married couples to live and cleave is to leave their biological families and start a new family. This demonstrates that a distinction has been made between the married couple's new family and their biological family. As a result, there is a noticeable distinction between married couples and their in-laws. It does not, however, imply that the man and the woman must cut ties with their in-laws to the point of abandonment. Rather, they should honor their in-laws and treat them well, because they are members of the family, especially if they are members of the family of faith. Because in-laws are related to married couples by marriage and are part of God's family too. Let's look at Exodus chapter 20 verse 12. Part of the 10 commandments, say, honor your father and your mother, so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you. Let's look at Deuteronomy chapter 5 verse 16. I'm quoting these scriptures because I want us to know it is important and to also give a balance. Deuteronomy 5:16 says the same thing that was said in Exodus: honor your father and your mother as the Lord has commanded you, so you may live long and that it may go well with you in the land the Lord your God is giving you. The same is reiterated in Galatians 6:10 in another way. Therefore, as we have opportunity, let us do good to all people, especially to those who belong to the family of believers. So what I'm saying is, leaving your father and your mother does not mean abandon them, abandon their desires, their aspiration, ignore their pains and their needs, rubbish their sacrifice over you. No. You should treat them with respect, with dignity, with honor. You should actually deliberately cast your mind back to your developmental process. Go back to them, ask questions. But your first obligation is to your spouse, your new family that you are creating. In the Bible, the ideal relationship that may exist between married spouses and their in-laws is one of regard, honor, friendship. So we're going to look at how you're supposed to relate now. I'm going to be looking at mothers and fathers-in-law. Let's look at the story of Moses and see what we can learn from it. And the story of Ruth and Naomi and see what we can learn from it. Exodus 3:1. Now Moses was tending the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian. And he led the flock to the far side of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. There, the angel of the Lord appeared to him. Now, no matter what you're doing, some of you have had to maybe stay in your in-laws' place, maybe due to circumstances beyond your control, even though my preference would be that you actually live physically. What I mean live physically is, for ease of administration, move away from the geographical space where your in-laws are. That would be my preference. Not because there is a hard and fast rule, but just because it's easier to manage. You have a pattern of doing things. Every household have their style of doing things. How you order your space, how you park your cars, how you wash plates, how you do this. So if you bring in your wife to the same environment, the tendency to continue doing things as you used to will be very, very high. But if you move to another space, both of you will have to agree as to how to do things. Then sometimes when you are in your own space, you have your siblings who defer to you, who help you, who support you. They may treat your spouse as a stranger. So to make things easy, if you can, it's better for you to go and rent a space or buy a space or just move out to a space where it's just the two of you. Remember I said give them space. So if you are in a relationship now and you are trying to get a house, please get a house outside of where your parents are. If they have a space to give you, maybe you don't have enough money, probably you let them let that place out and give you the rent to go and rent a place. It is better. It is better. It's a good place to start. Let's do that. But in the case of Moses, he was a fugitive. He was running away from Egypt before he got married, and it was just like logical for him to stay there. But he didn't lose his touch with his God whilst being there. And constantly, he was looking forward to how he could start on his own. Let's jump to chapter 4, verse 18 and see what happened there. Verse 18. Then Moses went back to Jethro, his father-in-law, and said to him, let me return to my own people in Egypt to see if any of them are still alive. And Jethro said, go, I wish you well. Some of you, when your son-in-law or daughter-in-law, when they want to make decisions, we mediate, we enforce, we try to tell them a better way to do it. Please be like Jethro. When they come to you, what should you do? Tell them, go, you have my blessing. Even when you have your reservations, try to talk to God about them and not force your perspective on them. Now let's jump to Exodus 18. We're looking at the pattern of Jethro now. Now Jethro, the priest of Midian and the father-in-law of Moses, heard of everything God has done for Moses and for his people Israel, and how the Lord had brought Israel out of Egypt. At that time, Moses had sent away his wife, Zipporah, and the 2 sons. Sometimes we also need to, lean on our in-laws for support. I know a lady that had to send the son to the mom because she had to win the son, and the son was very clingy. It was a very difficult one. The only way she could escape was the son not seeing her for that period. So sometimes these in-laws, they come in, they help, they support. But if you have a strained relationship, you won't be able to. But look at what Moses' father-in-law has been doing with him. So in verse 5 of Exodus 18, Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, together with Moses' son and wife, came to him in the wilderness, where it was camped near the mountain of God. Jethro had sent word to him, I, your father-in-law Jethro, am coming to you with your wife and your 2 sons. Even if you have to help your children, let it be for a limited time. Let it be for a limited time. Okay. Very, very important. Don't take over the management of that new family. And in verse 12, Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, brought a burnt offering and other sacrifices to God. And Aaron came with all the elders of Israel to eat a meal with Moses' father-in-law in the presence of God. Jethro submitted himself to the God of Moses, because the new head of that family is not Jethro. Jethro is a visitor in that place. I hope someone is getting this. It's that setting clear boundaries that is very important. Fathers of husbands, leave them alone. I know he's bearing your son name. That's all. He has left your home. He has to start a new home. Pray that you have put in your son, those good virtues and values that he also will be able to put in his own children. But don't go and rule, administrate, govern his home. Let him come to you for counsel. Hey, Dad, how do you think I should do this? Hey, Mom, how can I do this? I haven't even started talking about mother-in-laws, because I know that's the one you want to hear. Maybe we would have to leave that conversation for another time. But I'm trying to say that if we want to have a template for in-laws, let us go and learn the template of Moses and Jethro. The one that really excites me was when, Jethro watched how Moses was counseling the people. And then he said to him, you are sitting down from morning till night. You're going to kill yourself. So you're going to wear yourself out. You're also going to wear the people out. Let me give you a counsel. Why don't you train some leaders? Why don't you do this? When you do that, then let the same wisdom that is upon you, let it be upon them. Let them handle all these smaller matters. But when it comes to a matter that is beyond them, then they will escalate that to you. That way, all these people are functional and you are also functional. Everybody is doing something and nobody is worn out. That is counsel. Now, am I saying that in-laws cannot counsel their sons and their daughters? No. What I'm saying is, you are a visitor to them. You are not the one in charge. They are the ones in charge. They also have a right to take or refuse your advice. You cannot force anything down their throat. You cannot insist on traditions. This is the way we do it. You can suggest. And if they refuse your suggestion, go to God in prayer for them, because it is a new family. If there's nothing you got today, what you got is that God is interested in how we progress, how we advance from one family to the other. But it is family A donating Kuli, family B donating Ngozi, and they are forming a new family, totally different from the 2 families they're coming from. They're going to have the DNA of both families, but they are different from those families, and you have to allow them carve their own niche, start their own platform, order their own steps. They would also have a fair share of their own mistakes. What we owe them is praying for them and hoping that they will be greater than us someday. We have to stop today. We'll continue this conversation same time next week to know more about in-laws. Follow the Funmi Johnson.
Family Today with Funmi Johnson is powered by the Capstone Church Without Walls.